Welcome, cartel members, Anons, Facebook friends, and random YouTube viewer, and Instagram viewer or follower, or whatever they call you guys. Thanks for joining me. I am the Theorizing Theorist, also known as Julio Jaques, and I am going to talk to you about what is actually happening behind the scenes, at least according to Citizen Man. Now, if you don't know, Citizen Man is a very wise man. He is a mentor of mine in a way. He's younger than me, so it's hard for me to admit that the motherfucker's my mentor, but damn it, Jim, if he isn't a smart fella and doesn't do his damn research and know a damn thing or two about a damn thing. So I want you guys to go over and check out his video he's probably going to be posting tonight, and please donate if you can to him. He has all his info posted up. I'm going to post my info up to donate to this channel if you guys want to or feel so inclined to do so, in the description below and also in the comments below. But back to the point, Donald Trump kept the nuclear football. I did not know this. That's amazing. Now, we've all heard about May 4th being a special day for Donald Trump being inaugurated as the 19th president or something like that. Now, Citizen Man's going to break it all down for you here. Now, I haven't seen the whole episode. I'm going to watch the whole thing with you guys. I did watch like the first 10-15 minutes of it, but I want you guys to really pay attention to the first like 5 minutes of it, really. He goes quick, he's fast, and he's smart. So tonight he's going to be having a live, so be sure to tune in to Citizen Man TV or Citizen Man Live, or I don't know. I'll put a link down to his channel down below in the description as well, so you guys can be sure to find him. And make sure you tell him in his comment section that an All-American Cartel LLC sent you, or the Theorizing Theorist, whatever seems easiest. But yeah, he goes and breaks down everything that's really happening behind the scenes. And like I said, we've all heard about May 4th, and we've all heard about, I didn't hear nothing about the nuclear football, but I guess he's down in Florida chilling with the nuke football. So I'm just curious as to what that means for the Biden presidency. Is he still even a president without that football? Like, I get it that he is kind of technically, but like, is Donald Trump now blackmailing the world with this football? That's an amazing thought. Anyway, I'm just curious, like I said, as to your guys' thoughts on these ideas. He says a couple of other things I just can't remember right now, so you're going to have to stay tuned for the rest of this video. That's all I have for you, so just like I said, stay tuned and watch the rest of this long-ass video. But he goes through lots of facts, and he's fast, and he shows you. He's down a computer right now, so he's not going to be able to show you a slideshow, but tonight he does a slideshow. But it's almost better with him just speaking directly at you, no distractions, man. Citizen Man, if you hear me, man, I'm not telling you to change your show at all, because the slideshows are dope. But maybe throw in some of this too, man. It's nice when you talk straight to us, man. It makes us feel warm and cuddly. All right, to God be the glory.
What's up, everybody? First things first, I want to apologize for the quality of today's stream. I'm having to do it from my phone because I completely forgot that my daughter's got online classes and she uses my computer to do it. So now she's on online classes. But I will tell you guys this. I'm going to do about an hour and a half, but around the time when the inauguration ceremony is supposed to start, I'm going to be signing off, and I'm going to sit back and take a backseat view to everything, just like you guys are going to do, and we're going to watch it. And then later, when I get my computer back and I can give you guys the slideshow, we're going to go over and watch it again. We're going to watch it, and then later we're going to watch it again. We're going to go over some details. We're going to have some discussions. I'm probably going to open up the line and take some calls. But you know, one thing that's been really disappointing to me is the way people have been kind of turning on me and attacking me, because they're going along with the narrative. They're believing what they're seeing. And what they fail to realize is when the military deploys, whatever they say they're being deployed for is not what they're being deployed for. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But here's some things to consider. Number one, what's slated to happen today, I'm not the only one saying it. Number two, Trump has put D.C. under a declared state of martial law, essentially, with his executive order to allow the military to come in there. And that martial law has not been lifted yet. So under a state of military control, the military gets to decide who's in charge and who's not. So this inauguration is a complete sham. That's number one. Number two, Trump took the nuclear football with him down to Florida. Now, the fake news is saying, well, the nuclear codes get transferred because after Biden gets sworn in and he becomes president, the nuclear codes get Trump's nuclear codes get deactivated and Biden's nuclear codes get activated. False. That's not how that works. The codes can only be changed from that one device, and there's only one of its kind that exists ever. And that's why it stays with the president at all times, and it's only ever carried by the president's military aides. That's it. So if Trump were to leave the military, the nuclear football, for Biden to take possession of it, what would have happened was the military that was already there in DC would be in possession of it, not Trump going to Florida. Also, another thing to note with Trump going to Florida, his farewell speech. Did you guys notice the flags in the background? That was farewell to the United States corporation, because the corporation has to be abolished before the constitutional republic can stand. And Trump will be inaugurated on March 4th as the 19th president of the constitutional republic. But that's neither here nor there. I got the slides to show you guys later when I get on the computer. For now, all I can do is give you the talk. So the inauguration is a complete sham. That's number one. Number two, you all heard what the plan was, and there's an order that's supposed to be given. Well, guess what? On the 17th of January, when the White House went black, that was the order being given. That's the way the order is being given. And everything is being done in very subtle ways, like Trump's moving truck. You guys saw the community post that I put up, right? JK moving. I wonder why. Remember, Trump is a billionaire, but he's also a troll as well. And he's great at that. And in his farewell speech, he mentioned two very important things that you guys should have taken note of. The best is yet to come, and he said the future will be brighter than ever. Now, we all know, anybody with half a brain knows that's never going to happen with Joe Biden as the president. So that can only mean one thing: Joe Biden will never be president. Now, back to the nuclear codes. The nuclear codes are not transferred by a shutdown and a reactivation of one of the other. That's a lie. Because if that were possible, then the president's nuclear codes could be shut down, and anybody who's on the other, if bad actors get on the other side of the program that can reactivate new codes, they can build a duplicate device and activate the codes and then be in possession of the nuclear football. So that's not possible. That's not the case. So the fact that Trump is still in possession of that device means that Trump is still in charge and Trump is still the president. And until that state of military control, as we call martial law in DC, is lifted, Trump remains the commander in chief, no matter what Joe Biden says today, no matter what the fake news says today, no matter what happens today, Joe Biden will not be president. Now, you guys all know my assessment. Seems like wishful thinking, but do you believe in miracles? I've seen several in my life, and I'm not surprised that what's going to happen, what's set to happen today may very well happen. And this is why I'm signing off at 12, because I don't want you guys focused on me when things really get to the point where it's supposed to get to. I want you guys watching just like I'm going to be watching. So things are getting really, really heated. Things are heating up. But what you'll notice is certain individuals will not be present. Not just Trump, but people on Joe Biden's side also will not be present. And man, I really wish I had my computer so I could show you guys the slides and the images. But basically what you got is a situation where the entire Capitol is fenced off and there's military patrolling everywhere. I was watching Right Side Broadcasting earlier today, and some of you might have been watching it, and they were talking about the security measures. And guess what? They mentioned the sewers being sealed shut from threats, to prevent threats from below. Now, why would they do that if there aren't any tunnels in DC, or the tunnels aren't being used for certain activities that we've been told about before? So that tells you something. And according to the plan, the National Guard will surround the Capitol and secure the perimeter. What do we see? We see an extremely secure perimeter. And during this inauguration ceremony, all the National Guard people and all the military people I see are not inside the fence. They're outside the fence. I also saw an image of Humvees parked in front of the Michigan State Capitol. That image was put out either on the 16th or the 17th of January. Those Humvees, the way they were facing, guess what? Those Humvees were facing the building, not facing away from the building. That is not a defensive posture. That is an aggressive posture. That is saying we are going to attack you. Because if they were there to defend the Capitol against these evil Trump supporters, guess what would have been? Guess which way they would have been parked? They would have been parked with their backs facing the building and their fronts facing away from the building. You don't defend somebody by turning your face to them. You defend somebody by turning your back to them so you can face the threat. So if the military is parked in front of the Michigan Capitol and they're facing the Capitol, that's where the target is. So there are lots of things to consider here that people are not taking note of and are getting swept away in this fake news narrative that Joe Biden is going to be president today. That can never happen under martial law. That can never happen as long as Trump is in possession of the nuclear football. And that's just the facts. Because if Joe Biden is the president and Trump is not the president, then he can't be in possession of the nuclear football. Yet he is. What does that tell you? Now, Kamala Harris did resign her Senate seat. I think it was 2 days ago. So I guess she's official tissue to become the next sworn in vice president. And I actually had to take the day off from work today because I had some business to handle this morning that hopefully has gotten handled. Actually, they called me just now while I was live with you guys, and I declined that phone call so I can speak to you today. That video that I put up on Citizen Man Reloaded, that video was not produced by me. Somebody sent it to me, and I decided to upload it to share it. And whoever produced it, their name is mentioned briefly at the end of the video, so you can go check them out and see what other stuff they got out there. But that video was made for President Trump, for the military, to let them know what's going on. Remember his farewell speech? Go look at every other president's farewell speech and see how much they said in terms of the military, the Secret Service, everybody that Q mentioned in the list of red lines. Go look. They don't mention them. Trump mentioned the military. The general mentioned to Nancy Pelosi that Trump is still the commander-in-chief, and that's who his allegiance is to the Constitution as written. What did Trump say in his farewell speech? He said we're happy to have judges on the Supreme Court that follow the Constitution as written. And following the Constitution as written means that this ceremony for Joe Biden, for Sleepy Joe, that's happening today is nothing more than smoke and mirrors, a paper tiger. They have no power because that power has not been transferred. And also remember, the Pentagon is still not in communication with Joe Biden's transition team. They still have not opened up those lines of communication. So there you go. The only military that's openly communicating with Joe Biden are the military that's stationed in DC. That's it. And the liaison that's opening that line of communication is the FBI, hence why the FBI was doing all the vetting of the National Guard troops to look for who voted for Trump. And apparently a few of them did get removed because of their political views. But oddly enough, those two guys just probably happen to be more open about their political views. But the vast majority of the military is in full support of President Donald Trump, and they know what's going to happen. And that's why in that video, Trump mentioned they pay the ultimate, the people pay the ultimate price because the military represents the people. The military men and women come from among the people, from us. They're more of us than Congress is of us. So Trump's dedication to the military signifies his dedication to the people. And the military is not going to sit back and allow Sleepy China Joe, to take over power and send them into more meaningless wars so they can watch more of their brothers and sisters get arms and legs blown off and get killed and maimed and have to come home and comfort grieving families. They're not going to allow that. So what Trump is doing with the optics is not only is he making the enemy comfortable, but he's removing himself from, hang on a second, I got another incoming call. He's removing himself from the entire operation. So when the operation goes down, it bears the appearance of This is something the military decided to do on their own. Thus, the media can't go on a blitzkrieg and start blaming Trump for everything that he's doing and for everything the military is doing and saying he's acting as a dictator, because as far as the masses know, he gave up power. He conceded power. He left and went home to Florida, right? He's not involved anymore, even though he took the nuclear football with him and left D.C. under military martial law while being commander-in-chief. And what disappoints me about the conservatives that are actually getting swept away in this narrative, like Hugh said, the narrative has them. What disappoints me is they fail to see these facts. And now they're just going along with the fake news narrative. They fail to see the facts right in front of their eyes. And all they're focusing on now is what Trump is saying on the surface and what Trump is doing on the surface and what the fake news is saying, but they're not looking below the surface. It doesn't take that. It's not that hard to look beneath the surface. You don't have to look that far to see what's really happening. You just have to remember what happened weeks ago. Martial law, the military's there. All the traitors are going to be there. More people other than just me have been saying it. So why aren't you in their comment sections attacking them and calling them Q-tars? Why are you in my comment section doing it? Also, if you're dissatisfied with the content, you don't like what I'm doing, just go away. Don't tell me how you feel. I don't care how you feel. But obviously you care how I feel because you took the time out to share your feelings with me. Like I care. I don't. Because I see what's happening behind the scenes. And that's what my Citizen Man channel was based around. That's why a lot of things that I reported on, many other channels, the bigger channels, weren't really reporting on until after I did it. Because I was seeing things and picking up on things long before these guys were. But that's just because I've been watching the movie from day one, and I started watching the movie with a skeptical eye. I started watching the movie with skepticism because Alex Jones mentioned something. He said it's either in late 2015, I think it was, or late summer 2016. I think it was summer 2016. He said either Donald Trump is the greatest actor that ever lived, or he's about to be the greatest president that ever held the White House to try to restore the republic in this country. And ever since Alex Jones said that, I was sitting from day one watching Trump's every move, and all I kept noticing was him saying things, him doing things. Sometimes what he said matched what he did. Sometimes what he said didn't match what he do, because what he said was to troll the other side. And what I noticed is in his deception of the other side, many conservatives became deceived as well. Here's the best example I can give you. The red flag laws. That's the best example. He said, take the guns now, due process later. He knows that that's not in the Constitution and it's unconstitutional, but he also knew that there were going to be certain politicians who we wouldn't expect to go along with that were going to go along with it. And boom, he exposed Dan Crenshaw, just like that, and a few others. But people missed it. And to this day, there's conservatives mad at Trump saying, oh, he's not pro-Second Amendment enough. Of course he's not pro-Second Amendment, because he's pro-Constitution. He's pro the entire Constitution. Just like those idiots online and out in the street saying, oh, well, what's Trump done for black people? He's not for black people. That's because he's for all Americans, black people included. Just like being for the Constitution, all of it, Second Amendment included. There's no need to single everything out once you attack it universally. And that was his move, to show people that say something anti-Second Amendment, to show the people who was against it. Did he sign any red flag laws on the federal level? No, he did not. So there you have a prime example of Trump saying something to upset everybody, but not doing it. And to this day, he has not said the words I concede yet. So he has not conceded. And in his farewell address to the United States corporation, hence the flags with the gold fringes in the background, he also mentioned his it was his send-off when he was getting on Air Force One from Andrews from the Andrews Air Force Base. What did he say? He said, damn it, I'm losing my train of thought. In his farewell address, in his send-off, damn it, I'm losing my train of thought, because he said something that should have got it, that should have piqued everybody's interest. Jeez, I cannot remember what he said. I cannot remember what it was now. Now I got to go back and watch it. Oh, come on, Jaden. You know what it is. I hate when that happens. But nevertheless, too many people are buying into the narrative, and the narrative is not what it is. So he said something, but he didn't mean it. When he said the red flag laws, obviously, like I said, the example, he didn't mean it. In his farewell address, he said, damn it, it was right on the tip of my thumb, right on the tip of my tongue, and I thought I had it, and I didn't. But anyway, all we can do at this point, it's T-minus 1 hour and 10 minutes before things are supposed to kick off. And all we can do at this point is sit and wait and watch. But I'm going to leave you with this. I'm not ending the show yet, but I want you to take this with you when we do end the show. Remember, we were told that what's supposed to happen today was going to happen. Remember, the facts. Trump has the nuclear football still. They cannot do a transfer of codes because that's not how that system is meant to operate as a security measure. Also, DC is still under martial law. Also, it's up to the military to institute the constitutional republic, hence why the military has to take all the action from henceforth. The order has already been given with the blackout at the White House on the 17th. So these things are already in place. Also, it's a proven fact, and the photos have already been verified, that Trump's moving truck is jkmoving.com. Now, if you guys ever seen that movie Behind Enemy Lines, this was going to be the next subject I was going to get into with you guys. The subtle ways the military does their messaging. And learning the messaging is very important. In the movie Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, and those guys. Owen Wilson and his buddy went on a mission to go take pictures to do an intel mission with their plane over, I think it was Albania or Serbia or whatever. And the plane got shot down by, I think it was the Serbs. And when the plane got shot down, Owen Wilson left to try to find high ground to get on the radio, blah, 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 blah. His partner got caught by the enemy soldiers. The enemy soldiers killed him. Then Owen Wilson went on the run. He found himself cornered in a store somewhere. And while he was on the run, he had brief radio contact with the guy with command back on the ship, which was Gene Hackman, who was his direct commanding officer, probably his NCO, and then Morgan Freeman, who was the higher up. So he had contact. They knew he was alive. Then an incident happened where he found himself trapped in a store. A tank came in and blew up the store. They thought they killed him. So what he did was took advantage of that situation, of the optics, switched uniforms with a dead Serbian, and walked out of there right past the enemy. Nobody knew it was him, and put his uniform on the dead soldier. And then the enemies brought the dead body out with his uniform on it and started showing the name tag on the camera. Everybody on that ship who were supposed to be specially trained to know how to read these messages, they all chalked him up to be dead. They said, they got him. That's his body. He was dead. They bought into the optics. Gene Hackman noticed something about his uniform that wasn't right. He looked at that, at the video over and over again, and he said, he's not dead. He's still alive. So when the order was given to shut down radio contact because he was given up for dead, Gene Hackman kept his radio on. And guess what happened? Owen Wilson resurfaced, and it was found that he was alive. And the only way that it was found out was because one man saw the message. One man on that entire ship got the message and was able to keep that fire of hope going, and the miracle happened. Do you believe in miracles? I've seen plenty of them. But it's done in subtle ways. During the battles leading up to the Battle of Yorktown, the Patriots had to do this to draw the enemy soldiers to a different location. They set up fake camps, and they lit campfires, and they put them out in plain view for everybody to see, including the enemy. People in the surrounding towns that saw the fire said, oh my God, General Washington and the Continental Army are going to get overrun by the British. They're going to find them. Look at them. They're just out in the open. And everybody was worried. The British showed up and nobody was there. Nobody except the fighting force to ambush their ass. Deception is a part of war, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, the optics are deceiving you. You are being deceived by what you're seeing and what you're being told. And unfortunately, because things have to be done the way that they're being done, even Trump is engaging in the deception because he's not doing it to deceive us. We're supposed to know this already. He's doing it to deceive the enemy. It's just like when you know some shit's about to go down. Like, I don't know if you were kids and ever lived in a rough neighborhood where certain streets, you know, there was people you had problems with. So before you and your man walk down that street, you would say, yo, if some shit pop off, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to handle this. And you say it ahead of time. So when you go down that block and you run into that trouble, you don't have to be told again because you were already told before. So now you see what's happening. You now understand what's happening because you're told before. When you see these optics, this is what's happening below the surface. When you see these optics, these are the moves you have to make. This is the mindset you have to go into. This is what you have to look for. So you walk down that block with your friend, the beef comes out, everybody's got a problem, but now you know what to do. If your man said, all right, we're going to run back the other way, or if it's this many, we're going to fight, or whatever we got to do. The plan was already made, so it wouldn't have to be said when the situation arises. This is why Q was telegraphing everything so long ago, because by now, if you have been watching the movie, by now you should have seen it all. You should have already known what this was about. The state of military control in DC. Oh man, shout out to Sean for that, man. I wasn't even looking for donations today. Oh crap. What did I do to my phone? Okay, we're back. But I appreciate it. We're at 20% if you guys want to keep it rolling, but that's all right. You know, I've had people in the comment section, just because they haven't been watching the movie and don't know what the optics actually mean, been saying some really disparaging things. And there are a lot of people that, you know, once I thought were good people and actually had a little bit of faith, but they just turned out to be a bunch of sunshine patriots, and I ended up cussing a lot of them out and blocking them. And the reason why I got so angry with them is because you're supposed to know what all this means. You're supposed to know this already. I shouldn't have to explain this to you, and you shouldn't be in my comment section bullying me about it if you disagree. If you disagree, take your ass somewhere where you have an echo chamber, or go disagree on your own channel. So yes, it is very frustrating, because here's the thing. Your president has been engaged in a war unlike anything we've ever seen before. And that war is coming to a head, and it just might come to a head today. And this war is unlike anything we've ever seen before, because it's against an enemy unlike anything we've ever fought before. Almost every other war we've been in the past was against some proxy army that was on the same payroll as our military. Even though most of our military didn't know this at the time and found out later, most of our wars were against proxy armies that were controlled. And both sides at the top were in league with each other. In this war, it's not like that. In this war, it's against the real enemy. It's against the real devil. And when you're fighting against the devil, how do you find the devil? Where does the devil hide, ladies and gentlemen? The devil is in the details. So you're going to see things unlike anything you've ever seen before. You're going to witness things unlike anything you've ever witnessed before, like a presidential inauguration under martial law with military fences all over the place and all the tunnels blocked with Marines. Shout out to VJ for the film. Appreciate that, VJ. As long as Trump is still in possession of that nuclear football and DC is still under martial law and those military boots are still on the ground out there, Trump's still commander-in-chief, Trump's still in control, regardless of what the fake news says. Those are just the facts. Like I said, in order for there to be a true transition of power, certain things need to happen. And one of those things is the state of martial law has to be lifted for the new incoming president to reinstitute that state of martial law. Number one. Number two, the nuclear football has to be handed over, either through the middlemen in the military, i.e. the military aides, or from president to president, face-to-face directly. There ain't no shutting yours down and activating mine. It's not a freaking cell phone, ladies and gentlemen. But because we're so used to having these cell phones and having these cool devices where you can just shut one down and activate another one a world away, they actually get us to believe that this is what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. And our military, if you guys don't really understand it, our military, when it comes to the generals, there's the combat generals and then there's the political generals. The political generals usually come by way of joining the military by being commissioned officers, going through West Point, going to college, getting degrees and all that, and then joining the military at higher levels. Police departments do it too. They pay you more if you become a recruit with a 4-year degree. And I know this for a fact because my sister did. And I also have a cousin that did it too. He had a 4-year degree and went into the Marines and was an officer. Started as an officer. So you have the political generals, and of course, many of them do have combat experience, because it's a little ridiculous to have a general who doesn't have combat experience, commanding men who do have combat experience. That's insane. Shout out to Jessica. Appreciate that, Jessica. Thank you for Cash App. But the combat generals are making it clear with that conversation that General Berger had, and he's the commandant of the Marines, so he is a combat general. The combat generals are making it clear that they're under Trump's command, period. And why are they under Trump's command? Because Trump instituted martial law and he has not lifted it yet. So until it's lifted, they're under his command. Now, I have some audio that I would like to play, but I don't know how well it's going to sound over the phone. So I'm going to wait till I get my computer and I get my big mic working, so I can really give you guys the rundown and give you all the visuals to what I'm telling you right now. But you guys know I'm good for it. I always bring the receipts. And again, I am not the only one saying this. I am not the only one who has been saying this. David Zublik reported on this in February of 2019. Said exactly what we're seeing now was going to happen. A temporary state of military control, all the deep state traitors being rounded up. We got military all over in the state capitals, and they're facing the state capitals. Shout out to Nicholas. Appreciate that, Nicholas. Thank you for the Cash App. They're facing the state capitals. That is not a defensive posture. That is an aggressive posture. If I'm going to defend you from a threat, I'm not going to turn my back to the threat and face you and say, "Are you okay? We're here at you. We're here to protect you." No, I'm going to push you behind me in an aggressive way, and I'm going to draw my weapon and point it away from you and point it towards the target. Because that's how you defend. Now, in reference to the possible Chinese invasion, that may be a response to what we're going to see today. But if the Patriots play their cards right, shout out to Josephine. Appreciate that, Josephine. If the Patriots play their cards right, what we're going to see is Biden get on stage, get inaugurated, and at the moment of his arrest, it's not going to be, they come out, slap the cuffs on him, and perp walk him. It's going to be a situation like what Trump had, where Secret Service came out, grabbed him, and whisked him away. That's probably the optics we're going to see, but what we're going to be witnessing is him actually being taken into custody, and then we probably won't hear from him for quite some time. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But I firmly believe that this inauguration is not going to go the way that it's being built up to go. Because based on what Trump said, based on what's been telegraphed a long time ago, we've been told what's going to happen before. Q even said this themselves. They said, you've been told what's going to happen, and you've been given the highest level of intel. Look at this. I just got a tweet, came right into my phone, and it says breaking. Hold on, I got to pull it up again. It says breaking. Trump formally declassifies Russia documents over objections of FBI. JustTheNews.com. Boom. Did Q not say D-Class was coming? D-Class just came 1 hour before the inauguration. What's that tell you? And that was reported by, let me see who tweeted that out. Tweet from John, give me a second. John Solomon. Tweet from John Solomon. Boom, 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 boom. And supposedly at the time of the arrest, the National Guard is going to secure the perimeter. 2,000 National Guardsmen were sworn in as deputy marshals so they can have arresting powers. Because the military, when they're on U.S. soil, they have the power to kill you, but they don't have the power to arrest you because they don't have the capability to arrest you, because they're not an arresting force. They're an invasion force. They're a combat force. Now, they will take limited prisoners. They will take limited prisoners, but their main job is to kill your ass. But the marshals are the ones that do the arrests. We saw the picture with Nancy Pelosi being escorted by those female marshals. How do we know she's in custody? Because she's being surrounded by female marshals. In their normal day-to-day, they have male and female security. But the reason why she's in custody with female marshals is because if she was in the custody of men, she could make sexual harassment claims and they would be plausible. And that could allow her an opportunity to slip through the cracks. So in most special cases like this, they would put female officers with you rather than male officers if you're a female. And based on a report, I can't remember what the report was, but I have the audio. Shout out to Emmerich and Amina. Amina actually played the audio on the Blackout Show channel. No, not the Blackout Show channel, on her other channel, Billy Freschetti. And it was the audio of an insider, a military insider, speaking about what was going on. And he was saying these people have already been arrested. They're just being allowed to wallow around and do what they do to create the optics because you're watching a movie. And at the end of every good movie, what do you see? The hero come this close to losing it all, and then from the jaws of defeat grasp victory. And there's no better day than today because all eyes are on DC. And all eyes are on DC, on the left and the right and the center and everybody in between, because we're witnessing events take place there that we have never witnessed before in our lives. Or at least most of us, because there was about a few thousand troops there after Martin Luther King got killed. So, yeah, you know, but nothing to this degree, nothing to this magnitude. Did you guys get a good look at the Capitol grounds where they had the little flag set up in the little square boxed off, surrounded by all this other crap? You know what that symbolizes? Putting all those tiny little flags in that little square. They say it's to symbolize all the coronavirus victims, but no, it's to symbolize you being imprisoned. Because those tiny little flags are the people's flags. Those are not the gold fringe, the huge gold fringe flags. Those are the people's flags. Those are the tiny little flags that they give the crowds of people, the groups of people, when they get naturalized as citizens to the United States, the immigrants. Those are the flags they wave. Those are the flags they give. Those are the people's flags. And they have them all caged off in this little box symbolizing your imprisonment. What does Joe Biden want? He wants mandatory masking. They want more lockdowns. They want to bring all this crap back. And then some Democrats are saying open everything up because they're still trying to carry out their power grab. You were told what was going to happen. So now we sit back and we watch and we wait. But as far as the legitimacy of the inauguration, this is not an inauguration. This is a dog and pony show. There is no inauguration today because DC is in martial law. You cannot have an inauguration in martial law. Let's look at some comments. Why don't we? Jim Jackson says, a guy on YouTube named Angry Prepper. He is downtown live. That's my boy. Hope he will be safe. He was out last night walking the streets of DC. The only black person scoping everything out. He's there now. That's what's up, Jim Jackson. I'll tell you what, man. Get in the comment section and drop a link to his channel. Or email me the link to his channel, and I will share it here on the stream right now. Also, there's another guy out there called Mustang Medic. Mustang Medic is out there, and he took video last night, the early morning hours, of buses showing up. Lots and lots of buses showing up. I wonder why. Troop transport? Prisoner transport? Who knows? Couldn't see if anybody was on the bus or if those buses were empty. But according to the plan, When everybody's taken into custody, they'll be moved underground to the Marine in custody of the United States Marines, who are actually securing the tunnels. Hence why C-SPAN showed or Right Side Broadcasting, I can't remember which one, showed the manhole covers damn near welded shut, saying it's to protect against threats from below. So if there's threats above ground and there's soldiers above ground and there's possible threats from below, what does that tell you? There's soldiers below. Yeah, Trump pardoned Lil Wayne, Technic, and he also pardoned Kodak Black and a few other people, a whole bunch of people. Black Scout Preppers down there too, I'm guessing is what you're saying, Honeybee. Hey, Jim Jackson, yep, all clones and body doubles, and it gets even worse. I got a picture of the Obama skin mask in production. Yes, there is an actual photograph of it, and here's a picture of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg skin mask as well. This is why I can't wait to get my computer and get it fired up and get you guys that slideshow, because I got it, and you're going to love it. That's why Joe Biden's always like squinty like this. And when you look at his other speeches, his eyes are open like this because he's wearing a skin mask. Whoever it is pretending to be Joe Biden is wearing a skin mask. It's a lot easier to find a voice actor than it is to find a lookalike. So if you can't get the lookalike, you get a voice actor who can sound like the person, then you put one of those Hollywood skin masks on them, and boom, you got your character. That easy. It's that easy to deceive the masses. And people actually eat this shit up. This is why Q said, do not buy into do not listen to the mainstream media. Other patriots said, don't give them credence. Nothing they tell you is true. Everything they tell you is a lie. And I just proved it to you. Martial law. Trump's still in control because the military's in control and Trump is the commander-in-chief of the military. How can there be a transfer of power if Trump is still commander-in-chief? So he said farewell to the presidency, to his first term as president, as the 45th president. That's why he said, I'm concluding my term as the 45th president, because his next term he'll be the 46th president or the 19th president of the constitutional republic. So he's saying farewell to the presidency because he's now in commander-in-chief mode. Hence why the military still allowed him to keep the nuclear football and didn't try to nab him for treason. Because if he's supposed to be the outgoing president and Biden's supposed to be the incoming president, then it would be illegal for Trump to keep the nuclear football and take it home with him, wouldn't it? I would assume so. So why is he taking it? Because it belongs to him. Also to note, the Doomsday plane, the last time that plane has been in the air for days on end was on 9/11/2001. That plane has been in the air for days on end, and it just refueled over Florida, according to one of our viewers left a comment. And shout out to that viewer. I can't remember who it was, but he said they just refueled over Florida either last night or the night before, or it could have been the night of the blackout, the 17th. Why is the Doomsday plane in the air? Because big things about to happen. Big ting a guan. That's what the Jamaicans say. Big ting a guan. That's why that plane's still in the air. The Doomsday plane is basically like a central command center for the entire military. Isn't that Red 4 or Red 3? Is it Red 4? Either Red 4 or Red 5. One of the Reds. National Military Central Command. And you know what's sad? There's so many Christians that say they believe in miracles, and they believe in miracles so much they say Jesus is going to come back and stop it all. I say maybe the Marines are going to stop it all. You don't have to reach that far. I mean, they're already there. I mean, you have to think logically and think realistically. DC is under a state of military control. Trump is still the commander-in-chief. Every minute that ticks by, he's still the commander-in-chief. Maybe after this swearing in, there might be some controversy if they go through with it, but I highly doubt they're going to go through with it. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'll leave YouTube for a month. How about that? I'll stop broadcasting for a month. I'll just go away. Because there's a lot of people that supposedly even on our side that are talking to me as if they want me to go away, as if I should just shut up and go away because I'm so wrong about everything. So if they want President Biden, they can have President Biden. You want to buy into the narrative and believe the narrative? Go for it. But your reality is about to be shattered. Because remember, when this country was founded, it was the military that instituted the first constitutional republic. Thus, it must be the military to reinstitute the second constitutional republic. Only way is the military. And when Pence certified those votes for Biden, he violated the Constitution because according to the Constitution, he wasn't supposed to count those votes, those electoral votes. He was supposed to count both, have dueling electors, and then have it go to the Congress. For the Congress to cast their votes. But that didn't happen. He certified it for Biden. Now, if Pence is on Trump's side, why would he certify for Biden? Because he needs them to go forward with the fraud. Even if Pence is not on Trump's side, Trump's got Pence by the balls. If Pence is a bad guy. So Trump has full control of Pence. So in order for Pence to save his own life, he's going to do what Trump tells him to do. The Supreme Court is supposed to be on Trump's side, yet they've shut down the cases. Why? Because if the cases move forward and they gave Trump the win, there would be no need for the military to intervene. Only way is the military. So the only way it could have played out is for everybody who seemingly was supposed to be on Trump's side and give him the win to not give him the win, to force him to go to the military. I say this was the military's plan, not Trump's plan. Trump was just chosen to help them carry out the plan because he's smart enough to know what to say, what not to say, and what moves to make. Very few people understand President Trump. And it's very evident now, especially among his supporters or his so-called supporters. Look at all the people jumping ship and giving up hope. It ain't over yet. As long as that military is still patrolling in the Capitol and those fences are still up, they're still under martial law. Trump is still commander-in-chief, period. Now, according to the plan, what's supposed to happen at noon, the indictments are already issued this morning. And what's supposed to happen at noon is Biden is supposed to, on his way to the stage, he's either supposed to make it to the stage and begin his speech, or before he gets to the stage, be whisked away by either military or guys in suits. That's the way it's supposed to go. I don't know how that's going to play out, but we'll see. And Pence is supposed to be taken. Pelosi is supposed to be taken. And people within the audience, you're going to see being taken away as well. So it's kind of going to be like that thing when Trump showed up at Bush's funeral, Bush Sr.'s funeral, and had all the envelopes distributed. But instead of distributing the envelopes, they're just going to show up and they're going to take people with them. Instead of distributing the envelopes. That's right, Black Sheep. They say game day. Game day. Q says judgment day. And everything had to be this way because without this, the military wouldn't have a legal leg to stand on. That's why the combat generals are screaming Constitution, Constitution. Allegedly, there was a raid on Langley, Virginia on the CIA by the U.S. Marines as well. And I have that article from, I can't remember what outlet it was, but I have the article in my slideshow that I'm going to present to you guys later on today after this whole charade goes down and everything with Joe Biden is all said and done and over with. And some Black celebrities and singers decided they're going to have some gospel inaugural concert or something for Joe Biden, which is funny because, you know, a lot of people say, oh, the founding fathers weren't shit because they had slaves and this and that. But, you know, when you really think about it, those founders, even though they owned slaves and weren't perfect men, They created such a great nation that even one day the slaves would be free, and the descendants of those slaves would be so free, so fat and happy that they would gleefully and willingly go back right onto the plantation and sing and dance for massa. And they just put out the flyer, and I got the flyer to show it to you today. So ain't that something? A nation where men would be so free they would beg for their own enslavement. They would sing and dance and celebrate it. Ain't that something? All right, let me go back to the comments. I usually don't get a chance to read the comments, but since I don't have a slideshow today, I guess I can read the comments. Daniel Beach says, no military will not save you. You have to stop now and stand and take control of your area of living. Daniel Beach, I believe you might be correct about that, brother. I believe you might be correct about that, because the military has a specific mission to go after specific targets. But when those targets start to lash out, and launch attacks on the people, it then falls into our hands to defend ourselves. But remember, Castle Rock. You cannot be the rock of your castle if you leave your castle. You will be abandoning your castle. You defend your castle from your castle. So unless it comes to your doorstep, you do not go out into the streets and involve yourself in anything. Unless it comes to your doorstep. Porter Rock says you can invite Tiffany back on the panel. I keep calling Porter Rock. Pure Rocker. I don't know why I keep saying Porter Rock. I guess I read it too fast. Let me see another. Nathaniel LeBlanc says, I just saw a video of Trump leaving the White House, but there's no snow anywhere. Doesn't make sense to me. Wasn't there snow over there? I don't know, Nathaniel. Natalie. I'm sorry, Natalie LeBlanc. I don't know, Natalie. I don't know. RRC says, so if this inauguration happens with no incident, is it safe to say it's over? RRC, I don't know, brother. I don't know. But I wouldn't say it's over because, like I said, they're still under martial law. I wouldn't say it's over until that martial law is lifted. You see, you get what I'm saying, though? Do you get what I'm saying, though, RRC? Now, the fake news media with their narrative, they're going to want you to believe that it's over, and they're going to do everything in their power to make you believe that it's over. But again, they're still under martial law there. And as long as they're under martial law, Trump is still commander-in-chief. And there is no protocol for transition of power for a commander-in-chief under martial law. Unless the military conducts that transition of power. Michael January 256 says it's over. Okay, maybe. The whole court system, the whole criminal, corrupt, unconstitutional court system in this country is going to be collapsed and started again. That's right, Daniel Beach. That's what this is about. JJ said, Trump said it's only the beginning. Exactly. Dantes Franklin says they all look like drug dealers at the end of the movie. Who knows the bust is coming? And you see the reason why it's being done so dramatically in such a theatrical way is because Trump knows. Trump's also been in show business, so he knows that the American people pay attention to movies and respond well to movies. Shout out to John from CASHAPP. I appreciate that, John. We respond well to movies. I mean, look how easy it was for me to use that Behind Enemy Lines movie reference to demonstrate for you how the military signals to one another. Because in the movie Behind Enemy Lines, Owen Wilson had a personal relationship with Gene Hackman. They were not only, commander and subordinate, but they were close friends. So Owen Wilson knew how to put that uniform on the enemy soldier so Gene Hackman would get the signal and know that his boy's still alive. Subtlety. It's all about subtlety. Natalie LeBlanc says, the clip I just saw, I've seen the exact same thing before. Trump has already left and is safe. The clip they showed on him leaving is an old clip. See, we're already starting to see the funky business going on. Daniel Beach says, stand with your sheriffs, protect your people, keep your people in line. It's in the water. Yep, it's in the water. Watch the water. Dante says, I never seen that. I'll watch it tonight. Yeah, behind enemy lines. And look for that part when you thought it was just like what we're seeing now, when you thought the main character, it was over for him. He was dead. And even for a short time during the movie, even for us, the viewers, we were in limbo wondering if he really was dead or not. And we always held on to that little bit of hope because of Gene Hackman, because of what Gene Hackman's character said. He looked at that video and he said he's not dead. And he kept the hope and he wasn't dead. This is how it's being played out. In every movie, it's like that. Remember in Batman, when Bane was kicking his ass, took over the whole city, got his whole arsenal and everything, and somehow Batman was still able to defeat him. It's being done and conducted like a movie. Did you know not only is Sidney Powell a military lawyer, but she's also a movie producer? Did you know that? You see, Citizen Man knows things that a lot of conservatives don't know. And it's not because I'm some special guy with special friends that tell me all these special things. No. It's just because I know where to look. And of course, I don't always get things right, like that picture with the Chinese flag with the swastika stars around them. Yeah, that was definitely a dupe, and I got duped. And I admitted that openly on air. And some jackass came in the comment section lying about me, saying I didn't admit it on air, and I tried to play it off and say it was a test. Now, you guys were there watching me live, and you heard what I said word for word. So it's either he's a dumbass because he didn't hear what I said, and he didn't understand what I said, or he's a fag because he heard every word that I said and deliberately lied about what I said, because I did not say it was a test. What I said was I have to give a public retraction of this image because I got with the disinfo and I took it down, but I showed you guys the image, showed it ran through 10i, and showed you that you guys were right. It was fake. And I even went so far as to thank you guys for being so on point that you even caught me when I slipped. And I went on to say, if this were a test to see how on it you guys were, you would have passed. I didn't say this was a test. That's why I posted that. But that's what that jackass came in my comment section saying. So, and then he ended it by saying, oh, anybody that calls you out, you call them a dumbass or a faggot and block them. So guess what I did? I called him a dumbass, faggot, and blocked him. Because he's either one or the other. Like I said, you guys heard what I said. He's either a dumbass because he misunderstood what I said, or he's a faggot because he chose to lie about what I said. And the reason why I choose that word faggot specifically is because there's a difference between a gay person and a faggot. A gay person is a person who's attracted to the same sex. A faggot is a person who's attracted to the same sex but lies like a whore with everybody. Get it? So when I call you a faggot, I'm not necessarily calling you a homosexual. I'm calling you a lying sack of shit. Get it now? Words have meaning. And since we're in the spirit of all words are made up, I'm now making up my own meanings. And to me, that's what it means. Because I've seen gay guys call other gay guys faggot. And guess what they call them that for? For lying. So as an outsider looking in, I have to assume, okay, well, that's what that word means then. It means you're a lying homosexual. That's what that means. So I called him a dumbass and a faggot and blocked him, just like he requested. And we had a few other dumbass faggots come in the comment section saying dumb shit to me that I kind of went off on and blocked them too. There was a listener that actually followed me for quite a while named Sue Ann. Started calling me a Q-tard and all kinds of names. So I called her a stupid whore and blocked her. I don't care how long you've been following me and how much you support me. Don't come in my comment section bullying me. If you don't like what I'm saying, if I'm wrong or whatever you think I'm wrong, unsubscribe and leave. You have that option. You don't have to tell me how you feel because, again, I don't give a damn how you feel. And that's stupid to even attempt to try to tell me how you feel, thinking that I would even care how you feel. I don't. But I will use your stupidity and I will put it on display and I will show the people just how stupid you are. And how it's so easy for the fake news establishment to mislead you and misguide you when you're listening to a man use plain English words. And I'm pretty sure I didn't use any big words that night except retraction, maybe. To listen to a man use words in plain English and still not understand what that man was saying. So again, if you're that stupid, this ain't the channel for you. If I'm wrong and you call me out on something I'm wrong about, correct me. Don't call me names and call me stupid. Just correct me. But I will call you names and call you stupid if you attempt to correct me and you yourself are wrong. Because if you talk to me like I'm stupid and you're showing your own stupidity, what am I supposed to say? But that's neither here nor there. The point of this talk this morning is just to let you guys know that all hope is not lost. We got T-minus 29 minutes, according to my time, before things are supposed to kick off. And remember, guys, the trump card has still not been played. Yeah, thank you, Joe Kerr, for explaining that to CAS. I was simply explaining the source of my frustration and disappointment in so many so-called patriots that just turned out to be nothing more than sunshine patriots that only want to ride the bandwagon when things are all good. But when things get dark and winters get cold, food gets scarce, ammo and gunpowder gets low, the enemy's close, so you can't light a fire to warm yourself, so you just got to sit there and freeze. You know, the ones that decide, oh, this is too much for me, I'm not going to fight. I'm just going to bend over and give them, give them my ass. Those people, they're a disappointment. They're a disappointment. All these last 4 years, yeah, Trump 2020, da 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 da. Now we're in Trump 2021, and everybody's like, oh, Biden won because the fake news told you Biden won. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? There is no transfer of power under martial law unless the military transfers the power. So right now, the military are in control. That inauguration ceremony is for the military, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a paper tiger. He can appoint all the people he wants, and the fake news can tell you all the people he wants to appoint. But the agencies aren't cooperating. The Pentagon isn't cooperating. They're all still loyal to Trump because Trump is the commander in chief. This is why Trump allowed them to spin the narrative of Trump supporters raiding the Capitol so they themselves can declare martial law. Excuse me. And by they themselves, the local authorities. And once the local authorities declare martial law, the military is given control. And once the military is given control, the commander in chief who commands the military is handed control. So Trump got them to hand over the power, all power to them, to him. So he literally is a military dictator in DC at this current moment, who is still in possession of the nuclear football at this current moment. Just some things to think about. We got T-minus 26 minutes to inauguration, so I'm going to sign off. And depending on what happens and how it goes, I'm going to be back on either at 1 p.m. or I'm going to be back on at about 3:30 p.m. when my daughter's done with school and I can get my slideshow up and get it going and show you guys some things that I wasn't able to show you today because I'm bound to the phone. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys being here. I know you guys are waiting a long time for me last night. Let me just, before I say that, I have to apologize for my absence last night. I had a really, really grueling day at work yesterday because I went extra hard because I knew I was going to have to take the day off today. Not only to do this, but to handle the other business that I had to handle. And thank God that business is in the process of being handled. I still got a couple calls to make right now. That's why I'm signing off 20 or so minutes before the show starts. But I'm here. I'm back. We're back to the schedule, and I will not be taking any more nights off. And if I do, I'm going to put out a community post ahead of time to let you guys know. And the reason why I didn't put out the community post ahead of time yesterday is because when I got off work late yesterday, I actually came home, cleaned up, lay down to take a nap to get ready for the show so I wouldn't be here yawning and shit. See, this morning I haven't yawned once. And I ended up sleeping till about 11:30. So, I figured it was too late to go live then, and I wasn't really feeling it anymore. I kind of lost that spark that I had. So I was like, let me just save it for tomorrow because tomorrow's the big day. So here we are. I'm glad you guys are on. You guys are on deck. If my channel goes down for whatever reason, make sure you subscribe to Citizen Man Reloaded. That's Citizen Man, one word, space Reloaded, one word. Make sure you subscribe to Citizen Man Reloaded. And tune back in at about 3:30. I'm going to be live again. Yeah, I'm going to set it for 3:30. If not 3:30, we're going to push it to 4. But I'll put a community post out so you guys are going to see it. You guys are going to hear it and spread the word. Let people know. All hope is not lost. And do you believe in miracles? I've seen plenty. Citizen Man, out.